everyone. So we're getting ready for our wonderful trip up to Pine Valley, Utah. Can't wait to go. And we're just going to show you a little bit of what we do to get ready. We kind of break it up into several different days so that we can spread it out. We do what we call heavy prep and light prep. Heavy prep is all the big bulky stuff like checking air pressure, that kind of thing. And light prep is like putting clothes in the rig and food in the refrigerators, that kind of thing.
Oh yeah, he calls my work light prep. I like how that goes. This is a little bit more than we usually have to do because this is basically a boondocking. You know, there's no hookups or anything, so we got to be a little more prepared than usual.
That's why it's real important that you bring plenty of food in those refrigerators, right? So I guess the main thing is we're just going to kind of show you what we do and see what you think. Feel free to leave comments for us if you have a better way or tips and tricks. We're always open to that. We'll share it with the rest of the community, and we hope you enjoy this week's episode.
Yep.
Hi everyone. So as we told you in the last episode, we're getting ready to make our trip up to Pine Valley, Utah. Can't wait to get up there, but it's Monday now. We don't leave until this coming Saturday, but it's a 5-day trip, and so we kind of start getting some things done and ready out of the way so that we're ready to make the trip when it's time to make the trip.
You could be larger than life, bigger than the world, living out the hopes and dreams of every boy and every girl. You could fly higher than the sky, shine brighter than the stars.
You just saw the box with the DEF fluid in it. I'm going to be putting that in my truck in a moment. DEF is required in almost all vehicles, well, all vehicles made after 2010. Some makers were requiring it even before 2010, but 2010 is when the law kicked in. So my truck is a 2017, so it takes DEF. And the good news is they don't burn through DEF at a high rate. This is only the second time I've put DEF in it since we bought the truck, somewhere around, I believe it was March or so, maybe February. And we've been on a couple of trips, a few trips to Pahrump since then, and I drive it to work every day, so it doesn't really burn through the DEF. Okay, so DEF stands for diesel exhaust fluid, and what DEF does is it goes in right before your catalytic system, and it converts the bad gases into harmless gases. So I'm sure there's a little bit of some CO2 emissions going on, but nothing like it would be without the diesel exhaust fluid. So I'm gonna fill up my tank with that just to make sure we're ready to go. You also saw a couple of gas cans sitting next to the DEF box. Those gas cans, those are 5 gallons each. I'm gonna fill those up before we go, because the thing about Pine Valley is it's real close to, well, it's boondocking really. It's a state park. They have great concrete pads that are level and nice picnic areas at the end of each campsite. It's absolutely beautiful, but they have absolutely no hookups. So we'll be on our own electric power, which we can only run our inverters until 10 o'clock at night. We will be taking our own water. You'll see me fill up that tank in a little bit here. I will either fill it half or more full because it's got to last us 5 days. Now we won't drink from the tank inside the rig. We'll take showers though and wash dishes and things like that. I'll drink from a water hose because we have that purification filter pitcher that I've shown you before. So we'll use that if we're hooked up to water, but if we're drinking from our tank, we won't drink that water at all, just to be on the safe side. So we'll fill that up, and you'll see us doing that. We'll be checking the air in our tires, both the truck and the camper. We'll do that as well. But for tonight, because it's Monday night, we stage it. We do a couple of things every night. Tonight, really the only thing we're doing is putting the DEF fluid in the truck. And I'm gonna kind of just show you real quick, not that it's hard. I'm gonna show you how to go through that and get it done. Okay, so here's the beauty about DEF is everything that you need to add DEF to your rig comes in this box. So you get 2.5 gallons right here. I actually bought 2 boxes of this, but I'm only going to put in 2.5 gallons tonight. But you also get this handy nozzle with a little air vent in it so that it works well. So this extends, it'll go right in the filler hole. I'll show you that in just a second. And it's really easy to add depth to your vehicle. Okay, so I've taken the cap off, and I'm gonna peel this watertight seal off, and then I put my vented nozzle on here, screw it on a few turns just to get it, make sure it's good and tight. And then here's the beauty of this, is this unscrews right, and it stays attached to the vehicle with that strap. And then this, I just literally feed it into that hole and raise this up above. Don't be alarmed. Hold on a second, everybody. So here's what I found out. It likes it if the truck is level. So last time I put the DEF fluid in it, I used one of these same jugs and the truck was level. And this time it was in my 5% grade driveway, and it did not like that, as you saw. So note to self and note to all of you, when you go to put DEF in, make sure that your vehicle is leveled. Hi everybody. So it is now Tuesday. The last time we talked to you, it was Monday night. We're still doing our get ready plan to get ready for our trip, which occurs this coming Saturday. So this gadget that I have in my hand here is my tire inflator nozzle that I'll be connecting to my air hose, to my air compressor. I have an air compressor that I keep in my garage. I also have a V-Air air compressor that I take with me that's portable, that runs on 12 volts, and I use that when I'm in the park, and we've camped, and I use that to top off my tires again before we leave to make the trip back home. But for tonight and for ease, I'm going to use the indoor compressor that I have in my garage. So you kind of see the drift here. The first thing I try to do is make sure my truck is ready. We put the DEF fluid in it last night. The other fluids are topped off. I will fill it up on Friday night on my way home from work to make sure it has plenty of fuel for our trip. Remember, I have that 63-gallon auxiliary tank. I will top off all my tanks and get ready for the trip. But the next step is the tire, the air pressure in the tires. And I do both my truck and I'll be doing the rig tonight, making sure that we're set. The tire pressure for the truck is 110 PSI. So I'll top those off, make sure they're in good shape. We use the Tire Minder tire pressure monitoring system, which I talked about in a previous episode. We'll be monitoring our tires during the trip, but before I even leave town, I'm going to make sure that I have plenty of air pressure. I mentioned in one of my previous videos, there's a lot of importance to tire maintenance. Make sure your tires are in good shape, replacing them when you need to replace them. I also, as I told you before, I will grease up my wheel bearings using the Keystone Easy Lube hubs. And I always check out my brakes. I do a brake test before I leave. So tonight is tire night at the Johnson household. So stay with me as we top off these tires. Okay, so the first thing I like to do is get my hose out and kind of get it spread out around the rig. I'm going to do the tires on the fifth wheel first. Like to get the hose out, get it kind of laid out here. I'll take it in and hitch it up to the compressor, and then I will commence airing up the tires. So be right back. Be right back. Okay, so I don't know if you can hear me. That compressor is awfully loud right here. But I'm going to connect my nozzle. So that's connected. By the way, this is a really, really nice nozzle. It comes with the V-Air itself, and I got to tell you, I really like this. I really like this. It goes up to 160 pounds PSI, and it's a high quality. and it's got the reverse inlet. On the dualies, most of the time, the valve stems go in reverse, so they're going away from you. So you got to feed this in there and then pull back on it to get it to lock into the valve stem. So I'm underneath the fifth wheel, and you can see the, let me see if I can get you there. You can see the tire valve stem, and that valve stem has the tire minder sensor on it. So I'm going to take that off. I'll do that on all 4 of the tires and fill them up and top them off. Ouch, I just bumped my head, which I do that regularly, as you probably know if you watch this channel much. I have no spatial recognition when it comes to my fat head, so that's why that happens. So what I want to do is make sure I twist this to the point where I can see this gauge, and I'm gonna top them to 80 psi. So let's see if I can make that work. Hold on now. So that one, I know you can't see me, sorry about that. That one is topped off at 80, so it's ready to go. I'll put my tire sensor valve stem cover back on here. I like to put it on there good and tight because they're not inexpensive, and you don't want to throw one off going down the road because you got to replace it if you do, right? So anyway, so I've taken care of the front right tire. I'm going to go on around, do my rear right, and then I'll do the other side as I go around. All right, so now I'm on the left side, and I'll do the same thing to these 2 tires, get some air into them. Here's the beauty, is the other tires on the right hand side had not lost hardly any pressure, so I basically just topped them off. Now, we used this trailer probably about a month ago now, and you can kind of check your valve stem health by letting it sit, right, like you do with an RV, and you let it sit, and if you don't lose air, chances are your valve stems are in pretty good shape, and so are your tires. But I still do this routine every single time we go out of town because I just don't want any incidents on the road. Again, that front left was right at proper pressure. I just put a little nub of air in it just so it knows I came for a visit, and you just can't be too careful with these tires, and it's worth all of this crawling around underneath the rig and getting back in here and doing what you got to do. A lot of times I'll do this with the slide outs in. It's a little bit easier but I just didn't want to take the time to do that, so I guess it was worth crawling around on my old knees to try to make this happen tonight. Tires themselves say 110, and I'd rather err on the side of the tires and give it the 110 because that's what the manufacturer of the tires recommends. They stamp it right on the tire. So I'll be putting 110 in these bad boys. This is my Continental Tire. And you can see the valve stem there. It's going in reverse angle. That's why it's good to have that reverse on the actual air nozzle. And then way down in that hole, I don't know if you can see it, but way back there is the other valve stem for the dually, the inside dually. So I'll be topping both these tires off. This is me with the reverse, and so I pull it back toward me. That tire is good and doesn't need any top off, so very pleased about that. All right, so the tires are all topped off, all 6 on Beauty there and all 4 on Beast. And I just wanted to remind you that you always want to check your tires. Make sure the pressure is right, make sure it's at the manufacturer's spec. For the RV out there, it's 80 PSI. For the truck, it's 110 PSI. Always Do it according to specs. Always top off your air when your tires are cold. Visually inspect them, look for foreign objects, look for tread wear. It's all about safety, right? And it's about safety not only for you, but anybody riding with you. You know, Beauty here can haul up to like 5 people comfortably. And it's also for people going down the road with you that are driving side by side with you. You don't want to have a blowout and have pieces of tire go up and hit them and cause an accident, or worse yet, you swerve into them and cause an accident. So tires, tire pressure, tire safety are of vital importance. I have a friend who had a 5th wheel toy hauler and his tires blew. He lost both of them on the right hand side. My guess is that they heated up because they were underinflated. They were probably weak to begin with, and they both gave out at or about the same time. Didn't hurt anybody, didn't hurt him or anyone traveling next to him, but it caused about $1,200 worth of damage, because when those tires go, they just shred and blow. And that shrapnel, that rubber shrapnel, is much harder than you think. It took out his whole main slide on the campsite of his RV. He had to have it repaired. It took forever to get it done. And even once it was done, it cost him a lot of money, but once it was done, he wasn't happy with it. So for the safety of others, for the safety of yourself, and for the safety of your rig, make sure you check your tires and keep that air pressure where it needs to be.
Carl's filling our tanks tonight to get ready for our trip. I also have these collapsible water jugs. These are plastic, and as you can see, they collapse down to a very small footprint. They're 5 gallon. I've got 2 of them, and we're going to fill these up tonight because the potable, there's actually no potable water up there. So in order to use our zero water filter, which you guys have seen us use before, I'm going to bring water from the house. I'm going to fill these containers up. That way I don't have to bring a whole bunch of bottled water. I hate the waste, and I hate dragging all those bottles around with me. So, so let's go see what Carl's up to. Hi, dear.
Hi, come on with me.
Hey.
So here's the beauty about this is I hooked my water inlet hooks up to the same inlet that it hooks up to if I am connecting to city water, but I just flip a valve and it diverts the stream into the fresh water tank. So the good news about that is that I can fill up my fresh water tank the same way I get water to my rig. I'll fill this up probably about 2/3 full, because I think Donna told you that we're going to a campsite that it has no hookups. So we're going to need this water, and then of course we'll use filtered water for drinking water. We won't use water out of the tank.
Do you remember how big our tanks are?
53 gallon fresh water.
So 53 gallon, and we, the 2 of us, probably go through that. We could probably do it a week, maybe with showers and
maybe
everything.
I might go ahead and just fill it all the way up. It just adds a lot of weight to the rig and puts extra stress on your tow vehicle. And we are going up into some hills, but for the most part, our trip there is going to be flat, pretty flat.
Yeah.
So with a nice slow rise, and then it gets a little hilly right at the end. So I think I would be best served to go ahead and fill the tank up all the way. And the nice part about that is the vent is right here. And when the tank gets absolutely full, the water will start coming out of the vent, and that's what tells me I'm done. So in other words, it won't let you overfill, right? So you fill your tank full. When the water starts coming out of the vent, you shut everything off, and you're good to go.
I think oddly enough, we actually fill up our gray tanks quicker than we, run out of water. I don't know why that is.
That's almost impossible. It's water in, water out.
It feels like it. Anyway.
All right.
That's filling water in our tanks.
So we're putting water. Now this is Wednesday night, just to catch you up, and it is our last night of this heavy, what I call heavy prep. So we're almost finished with heavy prep. We've done our truck, we've done our rig. Now we'll fill it up with water. That's kind of the last thing we need to do. I'll get the fuel for the inverters tomorrow night on my way home from work. I'll top off my fuel tanks in my truck, and the truck's ready to go. Saturday morning, we get up, we do our final load, which is the lighter stuff, easier stuff, and then we hitch and we go.
I'm going to go in and turn on the refrigerators, and I've already done the grocery shopping, and I already packed. I packed our clothes.
And then when do you actually put the food into the...
because I turned the refrigerators on tonight so that they have time overnight to get cold. Then tomorrow morning I'll start bringing some out. I'm also going to go ahead and make chicken wings tomorrow and a spicy corn dip, and that's what we will have Saturday when we get to town.
Yeah, so that's pretty much heavy prep, and then we start into our light prep starting tomorrow. Donna will be doing that while I'm at work, kind of, and then we'll top off whatever we need to do Saturday morning before we hitch up.
Yep, we're
So-
almost ready to go.
We'll be right back with you. Well, no, we won't, because this is the end of the video. So anyway, we're gonna have fun. We will see you when we get up there. We'll check back in with you with our next video.
Don't forget to like and subscribe and hit that little bell so that you know when we're posting videos, and ask any questions you want.
Oh yeah, give us your ideas about how you prep your rig, and then we will talk about them in our next video after this one, and let people know you might have some great tips and tricks that we all could use that would benefit our community. So yeah, definitely give us some comments, ask us some questions, hit the like and subscribe, because you know what? We like that. You like it because you're hitting the like button and YouTube likes it. We'll see you soon.
Bye.